Welcome to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast. As always, I'm your host, The Mind, and with me is my co-host, The Body.
Pleasure to be here.
Welcome once again. And once again, we have another action-packed show for you with plenty of topics. Of course, we're going to review the latest in the NFL playoffs. The divisional finals are over. Conference finals coming up.
I'm just thinking nothing screams action like us sitting here talking about sports.
Oh, yeah.
It's action.
Action-packed.
So much action, it's got us riveted to our own seats.
Absolutely. It's like this seat is knowing action right now.
Actually, this seat is literally knowing action as I swivel.
Swivel!
In pure madness and preparation for this onslaught of conversation.
Of action conversation.
Active conversation.
After we finish actively conversing of the NFL playoffs, we'll deal with a potential new NFL star, quarterback Kyler Murray, who may become the next two-sport athlete.
As we actively move from topic to topic in our quest for action.
It's all about action. And you know what else is going to be action? All Elite Wrestling. All Elite Wrestling AEW. It promises to be an action-packed league. So we're going to be action talking about that league.
Fucking nice.
New wrestling league for all you fans of the Squared Circle. And as always, we will end our show with our epic and suck of the week. The one moment we thought was epic, one moment we thought sucked.
All this we're actively animated for, even though you don't get to see that.
Exactly, but you can feel it.
You feel the activity,
feel it in our voices right now. The hair should be standing on end on your forearms. Action.
All over.
So, as a good Hollywood director would say, all right, action. Act 1, NFL playoffs. Playoffs?
We're talking playoffs?
As a former Indianapolis coach once said, yeah, playoffs. His former team, Indianapolis, went into KC with all kinds of confidence, momentum.
And now they're out of the playoffs?
31-13. KC didn't just beat them, they whooped them. They gave them a beating, they made them go home and cry. Turns out KC does have a defense.
At home.
At home.
At home.
Only at home.
I think they give about 18 points a game at home. Defense
don't travel well?
No, defense doesn't travel well.
Or they just don't travel.
They don't have to travel till the Super Bowl if they have their way.
Mm-hmm.
Their front seven really... This is a real testament, though, because their front seven dominated that Colts offensive line. And that offensive line has been outstanding for the Colts. So it wasn't just a great defensive performance. They whooped a line that really hasn't been whooped this year for the most part.
Right.
So it was a dominant physical performance. Yeah. And the one thing that came up, too, is besides T.Y. Hilton, the Chiefs, or the Colts didn't really have many receivers who could get open. So no one else could win battles. And I thought Eric Ebron was pretty disappointed in this game at tight end.
Yeah, no real running game either.
That was blown out because of the line play.
Yeah, Mac just pretty much shut down. I think he had 48 yards or some foolishness like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before he ran over previous teams, but the previous week he... help me out now.
Demolished Houston.
Houston, that's what it was. Yeah, no, he just literally ran him over. Well over 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Life was good. But yeah, against Houston, or against KC, their defense suddenly showed up and decided to shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
And their offense just kept doing what their offense has been doing all year. It's an impressive, thorough performance. No criticism at all.
No.
The better team won.
Yeah. It wasn't even debatable.
No. Next game was Dallas against the LA Rams.
Oh, Jared Goff took DeMarcus Lawrence's soul. Wasn't that the trash talk during the week that Marcus Lawrence wanted to take Jared Goff's soul?
That was the trash talk.
I don't even know if the Dallas defensive line even touched him the whole game.
No, we spoke about this, and I voiced my concerns. I mean, it's one thing to lose the game, but to lose your soul,
I voiced my amusement personally.
like that would worry me. It's like I don't want to lose my soul, man. It's like. And DeMarcus Lawrence wasn't messing around. He was there to take Jared Goff's soul.
And his got taken from him instead.
Oh, did it ever?
Interesting thing I heard. I just heard this point through a little bit I heard of Rich Eisen's show.
Mm.
So apparently, I guess Whitworth, the offensive left tackle on the Rams, had mentioned that the Rams saw some stuff from the Cowboys, such as where defensive, because they're worried about the defensive ends pass rushing, the Hot Boys as they're called in Dallas.
Yeah.
But they could tell from where tackle Malik Collins was lining up for Dallas, where the stunt would be, depending which shoulder of an offensive lineman he lined up on. And they could also tell by certain defensive linemen which hand they were putting in the dirt, what they were going to do. Dallas even must have failed to adjust at halftime. Great preparation. That's called fooling your opponent, considering there's film study all week. So, chalk that up as the Rams are prepared, and Dallas wasn't, and it showed.
That's always an amazing thing when you hear, talk of coaches spending like 16 hours a day, every day at the film room, and all that, and at the office coaching. And you always got to wonder, oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Ooh, bless you. Well done. Well done. That was live, too.
You did yours pre-show.
Yeah. No, you waited until the right opportune time.
Whether I wanted to or not.
But yeah, when they say the coaches, spend all this time, you always wonder, like, what in the world are they doing for 16 hours a day?
Well, the Rams obviously made use of that 16 hours a day. Dallas, not so much.
And that's the thing. When you're talking about breaking like a team down to that level of detail, where you're actually looking at where is the hand positioning for all the linemen, and now how are they lining up against our, defensive line? It's like that is like savage, insane detail. But obviously, hey, if you want to win a game, win a championship, this is basically the level that you got to get to.
This is a meticulous level of preparation you have to follow.
Yeah. So well done, LA.
Details.
Like that's impressive to basically nail it down to that kind of minute, fine-grained detail.
I'm going to say equally impressive to LA and equally unimpressive to Dallas.
Well, this goes along, though, with like Jason Garrett has gotten plenty of criticism pretty much for his whole coaching tenure in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And people basically saying that he's not really a very good coach and he's just really there because he's Jerry's boy.
But I think you could break this down to assistants, too. Because... Hey, defensive line coach should be on this. Defensive coordinator should be on this. And I like Rod Marinelli, defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Chris Richard, the passing game coordinator, I like him. But someone there should have been on it. Garrett should have been on it, but even one of the people under him should have been on it.
Right.
Like multiple people should have been on this.
Yeah. So just a collective failure by the entire coaching staff to not see what the Rams picked up on their tell. And they didn't realize their own tell. No,
they didn't realize it. And even if they don't realize it and the Rams pick it up, you have to be able to adjust to it. And I don't think they ever did.
Yeah. Whatever they did, the Rams just had them figured out. And obviously the Rams knew about the tell, but the Dallas knew they were given the tell. Once again, Dallas had brief hope in the beginning, but then LA just... basically ran away with it and just coasted till the end.
Yeah.
Nothing. Another deserving team. No real controversy here.
Mm-hmm.
Next game we want to look at was the defending champs, Philadelphia and New Orleans. There's another one where I know going into it, I thought, sure, there's a chance. I mean, you're the Super Bowl champ, so sure, you should have a chance, but boy, I thought, man, New Orleans has everything. Their offense is so good. Their defense is so good. Like, there's no way that Philadelphia should win.
My one concern was New Orleans extended bye when they didn't play their players the last week of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if they would come out a bit rusty.
Right.
Especially on offense.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I mean, I wasn't concerned. I thought, it should make a difference. Maybe it did. Because, yeah, Philadelphia came out just, like, tormenting New Orleans.
Yeah, it took New Orleans a bit to get it going.
Yeah. And they eventually did get it going, but literally, like, right till the very end, when the almighty, no, not Bobby Ashley, Alshon Jeffrey, once again,
your boy.
my boy, he basically never fails to fail.
A commitment to failure.
It's a commitment to failure. It's like, for anyone that has ever had that guy, this fool, on their fantasy football team, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Alshon Jeffrey is the master of playing on Monday, probable on Tuesday, questionable on Wednesday, out on Thursday. Week after week is like, I think I only had him play for like maybe half the games. And even though in those half the games, I think half of those games, he like basically didn't even play the full games, got injured somewhere along the way. So yeah, so this guy has had nothing but a career of fail. So the fact that he failed again and allowed the catch to go into the loving arms of a saint defender to finish off his team's chances did not surprise me.
It sounds like you even feel better getting that out.
I do. I feel better. Almost as good as that sneeze.
There's a lot of action so far.
There's plenty of action. Speaking of action, the last game we're looking at is the LA Chargers. Again, another team filled with confidence, brim, vigor. All the betting lines shifting to the LA Chargers. They're going to win. They're going to crush the New England Patriots because New England are old, they're slow, they're broken, they're no good. Brady and Belichick, the magic is over.
Guess what we come back to that we talked about with the Rams and Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
Preparation.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, here we go. The Chargers. Everyone knows that the Patriots pick apart zone defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know the Chargers are primarily a cover 3 team.
Ooh.
But the Steelers are primarily a zone team, and they adjusted and played man-to-man in the season against the Patriots, and they played them well. And I thought at least the Chargers would play half man, half zone. You know, each zone is a mix. They constantly played zone. James White caught 15 balls because they just sat back in a zone.
Mm-hmm.
Just abused them. But not just did they stay in zone the whole time, they didn't even adjust and remained in their zone as they got picked apart. Now, even if the Chargers play the man-to-man, maybe New England wins this game. It is Belichick and Brady there in Foxborough. But when the Chargers came out in all zone and never adjusted, they never gave themselves a chance.
Yeah.
Just a horrible game plan and lack of adjusting. Just absolutely wretched.
It was absolutely comical that Edelman just picked that team apart just on the short passes.
Well, the zone, because he runs option routes against the zone. So he's going to find the open spot. White's going to find the open spot. Brady's what? How much has he not seen in his zone defense? He kills zone defenses.
Pretty sure there isn't a defense that he hasn't seen.
No, you're best to go man-to-man against him because even though he's seen it, at least you're challenging the receivers and accounting for them.
Right.
So you just play zone against them. It's pitch and catch, pitch and catch, pitch and catch, pitch and catch.
And that's all it was. It was just pitch and catch. And when they got tired of doing that, they would just take, Sony Michel and, any of their other, half dozen running backs and just run them right up the middle.
Yeah.
And just dare those smaller defenders to actually tackle them.
Yeah.
Which they didn't.
No.
And they just kept running it right down their throats, passing it in that nice soft pocket in the middle. And the next thing you know, they put up 41 points. And really, the Chargers' 28 points doesn't really indicate just how dominant they were.
Garbage time. Just a lot of garbage time trash.
Yeah, that was garbage time points because really the Patriots dominated this game, like from pillar to post.
Oh, yeah.
Like from the beginning to the very end. Like realistically, the Chargers should only have like, I don't know, 7 points, maybe 14.
From the opening bell to the ending TKO.
Yeah.
It was all Patriots all day.
Yeah. So, yeah, turns out they don't suck. Yeah, how was that for Brady comment at the end of the game? I know everybody thinks we suck.
Did you say that?
That's what he said. Live at the end of the game when he was being interviewed on the field. He threw out that golden nugget out there. Yeah, I know everyone thinks we suck. So I was like...
That was the chip on his shoulder, so don't give that guy a chip on his shoulder.
That's the thing. I think that whole team played with an entire chip on their shoulder. That's kind of like, oh, really? You don't believe in us? Like, we've won 5 Super Bowls. Still don't think we can win? Fine. Yeah, so... Oof. Heck of a game. Well done, Patriots.
Badly done Chargers.
Badly done Chargers. So with that, that was our divisional finals, and you found a crazy stat about wild cards.
Well, actually, yeah, I heard this. I heard this at the weekend. So the last 6, I believe this is 6 straight years, where no wild card team has made it out of the divisional round.
That is spectacular. Like you would think that
one would have got through.
Somebody like and kind of like you always think of the NFL having some decent parity that.
Well, there's those few years there where wildcard teams are getting through regularly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's quite amazing that for the last 6 years that, it's like you shall not pass. So, we'll have some upsets in the wildcard round, but that's as far as you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's interesting. I'm so surprised to hear that stat. I thought there'd be some.
I thought so, too.
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, that leads us to this weekend's games coming up, the conference finals. It's a battle of number 1 versus number 2.
So the deserving teams are there.
Yep, in both conferences. The 2 best teams in each conference over the year. We have number 1 New Orleans versus number 2 LA Rams.
And I believe a couple of regular season rematches. I know Chiefs, Patriots, and I'm pretty sure the Rams face the Saints. I'm like 99% sure. I'm just double checking the schedule now.
Nice.
Just in case there's that 1% chance I'm wrong.
And if there is, we'll never admit it.
No, I will just act like I never said that.
Yep, I'll pretend like I never heard it.
But if it happened, we will talk loudly and proudly about it.
Until then,
it happened.
On the other side, the AFC, it's KC versus New England. Number 1 KC, number 2 New England.
Okay, and then we'll come back and talk about that because it happened.
Because it happened.
It happened.
Of
course it happened.
Fabulous. Of course it did. We told you that a minute ago.
I told you it happened. Like, there was no doubt here.
There's zero. There's a 1% doubt.
Which for us means none. We completely ignore math.
Yeah, there's no pennies in Canada anymore, so everything is rounded up to 5.
Yeah, so if it's when, it just doesn't matter.
It's 0. Yeah. So you could have said 2% and still 0.
Yeah.
If you said 3%, then now it's like 5%.
Yes, because we're rounding up.
We better stop because we're delving into Scott Steiner math all of a sudden.
Ooh. Everybody loves Scott Steiner math, but you don't want to hurt your brains.
No, because otherwise we'll be talking about 133% chance of winning.
Yes. When you stick with us, you do have 133% chance of winning.
That's action. So let's look at the NFC title game.
We started looking at the NFC. We slid the AFC. It's like, we're right. We'll slide back to the NFC.
Let's slide right back to the NFC.
Because we do what we want to do. So we'll slide to the NFC.
It's our show. We do whatever we want.
Do whatever we want. There are no rules.
No, it doesn't matter what our agent says. So, Rams and New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. They played earlier this year. The 45-35 game in New Orleans.
Of course.
Epic shootout.
Nice. Is that what we're going to get again in the playoffs? Another shootout?
I think it'll be a reasonably high-scoring game, but I have a weird feeling it's not going to be as high-scoring as that first game.
Just the added playoff pressure is just gonna.
Yeah, I think so.
We're on these teams.
Yeah, I think so.
So LA Rams, are they going to be able to stop the 1-2 running combo that New Orleans presents them?
I think that's what makes a difference for the Saints at the end.
Mm-hmm. Because Kamara has been a beast all year, and
Ingram's determined.
And Ingram just loves keeping up with his running partner there.
And then on the other side, though, you have Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson. C.J. Anderson released earlier this year by my Raiders because who needs a good running back? And Carolina released him because who needs a power back? But he might be running better than Gurley right now.
Yeah, that was an excellent pickup. Unexpectedly excellent pickup, I think.
Well, I've always been a big fan of his. Remember a few years ago when I took him at 50-1 to win the rushing title before the start of the year? And you thought I was crazy, and you're right, because he never came close. But that's just... But I do have faith in the boy. He's a really good running back.
I had faith in him this year as well, and I was surprised that he was as ineffective in Carolina. I thought it was like, this will be a perfect place for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was good in Denver. He wasn't a bum.
No.
So that was. But I guess in McCaffrey, right?
McCaffrey, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he was just so dominant in Carolina that CJ never really got any continuity there.
Yeah, and he's a power back, so he's got to get the carries.
Yeah. But LA Rams. I guess they're coming up with their own 1-2 punch at running back.
But the Saints are better against the run, but it's still going to be tough against that duo. But the Saints are better against the run than the Rams are.
Well, and that's the thing. And so I guess that's been the one soft spot in the Ram defense is run defense. Mm-hmm. The Aints, is there anything glaringly weak in their defense?
No, I like their defense. Secondary is pretty good. Adam Ward's really good at one corner. Eli Apple's playing better. Von Bell had a really strong game. Good secondary on the Rams now. They got Talib back with Marcus Peters. This is one of those games I think the Saints run the ball a bit better. I don't think the Rams... I think both teams are almost equal running the ball. But I know the Saints will stay more committed to the run. If the Rams stay equally committed, this can be tight. Mm-hmm. But I think the Saints defended a bit better. The home field advantage is going to help a bit. Interesting matchup people are talking about, though, are special teams. Mm-hmm. Excellent special teams on both sides. On the Rams, for years, even Jeff Fisher days, the same coach is there. And he's innovative and daring at fakes. They do some interesting stuff there on special teams. And on the other side, the Saints special teams have got better this year. 70-year-old Mike Westhoff. And he's been one of the better special teams coaches in the league for years. He used to do some exceptional stuff with the Jets a few years ago.
Okay.
So even the special teams are going to be a dynamic matchup in this game. This is going to be a fantastic game top to bottom.
I like it. So the one unit that doesn't get as much love as it should be getting, special teams, this is what we're thinking is going to be like make the difference really overall in this game. Because the offense, defense, kind of like not really much to choose there. Mm-hmm. So it'll be whoever is more daring, bold, and executes better in the special teams.
Well, the Rams known for fakes. Mm-hmm. Saints pulled the fake punt last week. Mm-hmm. Saints onside kickoff the year they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Even though it's pretty much so, don't put anything past these teams. It might be who's more prepared to either pull the trick play or even stop the trick play.
Right. Prepared for the trick play to stop
it. Or pulls it off, yes. Yep. If it happens.
I like it. So that's what we're watching. Mm-hmm. Special teams, that's where this game will be
You
won.
think so much Peyton, Breeze, McVay, Goff.
Yeah. But,
Gurley, Kamara, but look out for the special teams in this one.
I like it. So, who do you think is going to win? Who would you be picking?
Could go either way. I'm going to take the Saints.
Going to take the Aints? All right.
This is one of those games. Well, we'll get to the Chiefs pick right away. This is one of those weekends I could really see going either way, but I like the Saints in this one.
Cool. Yeah, that would be my pick as well. So looking at the AFC Championship game, we got New England going into Kansas City. So New England on the road this year. They were 3-5, I do believe.
Yes.
So can they go into KC and make it 4-5?
Guess who else? Though it's a far cry and far bigger difference in preparation. Hey, guess who else had a great home record this year? Was 3-5 on the road. Dallas. Then again,
oops.
Let's also say Bill Belichick is in Jason Garrett, and there are going to be no tells.
I don't think Jason Garrett is the pocket lint in Bill Belichick.
He's not even the toilet paper for Bill Belichick. Okay, so getting to the facts here. Can't write off Brady and Belichick, obviously.
Yeah.
Here's what I think, though, with this one. Going to KC, KC's defense is much better. Home was 43-40 in Foxborough this year. I believe that was the score. I know it was a shootout in Foxborough.
Yeah.
They're going to KC. That defense is better at home. The defense has been playing better lately than they did early in the year. They've been playing better in the secondary. Unlike the Chargers, the Chefs will play man-to-man. There is no Josh Gordon this time. Well, the Patriots could pull it off. I really like the Chiefs here, but I see a close game. Kind of like the Saints-Rams game. I see a fairly high-scoring game, but not as crazy high-scoring as when they played early in the year. Like you see one of those 27-24, 30-24 games.
Okay. Yeah, I think that right now, given what the Patriots just did this past week, basically doing a John Cena-like F something to the entire world.
And that's where you can't write him off, because when you're in that mode, you really can't write off Brady.
Well, that's the thing, because I was in the same camp. I thought, the Chargers, offense is doing better, defense is doing better. I thought, there's no way. And Brady, he's great, but he's got nobody to throw it to. And they proved everyone wrong. So I think for KC, if they have a chance to win this game, I think they have to be up like 14-0, fairly early on in the first half. Like they need like a 2-touchdown lead to have any kind of confidence. Because if they don't, if New England were to actually take the lead, if New England suddenly gets off to this 14-point lead, then I think the KC is done. Because they got a young quarterback, young running back, and they would just be in full panic mode. Because they see on the other side, there's the 5-time Super Bowl champs, the team that's like pretty much there every year, and they know these guys aren't going to crack. And all that doubt is just going to start creeping in.
Usually I'd agree with that, but you know what? I honestly think Mahomes is too carefree for that to happen. I think the opposite. If they're 14 down, they're still in it. But not if they're in Foxborough 14 down. The other thing I'm going to point out, too, though New England could break this just one day maybe, have to be soon. The Brady-Belichick era can only last so much longer. Again, not 100% certain. This one, 95% certain. I do believe the Patriots have never gone to the Super Bowl if they haven't gone through the whole playoffs in Foxborough. So if they get out on the road, I don't think they've actually ever got to the Super Bowl going through the road route anywhere.
So guess what else they're going to put? Guess what chip is going to be on their shoulder now?
That does give them that chip on the shoulder, though. That does legitimately give them that.
We can't go to Super Bowl being on the road, eh? Fine. Guess what we're going to do? Guess what we're going to do?
It's possible. This is another one of those games I could see going either way.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give the nudge to the Chiefs.
All right.
But it's tough to go against Belichick and Brady, and they really do have a legit shot here.
All right. So, Buddy says Chefs.
Chefs ain't Super Bowl. Though, you know what? I kind of want to see the Patriots win. And I'm going to tell you why I want to see the Patriots win, especially if the Saints win.
All right.
Because how epic would it be to see, for the tag team championship of the world, Belichick and Brady against Peyton and Breeze?
Oh, yeah.
How epic would that be?
And you know what the screwy thing of all this would be? Is they just broke the record for like the oldest combo of quarterback matchups. This past playoff with thinking here, who was it? Oh yeah, it was New England and the Chargers. Between Brady and
Rivers breaking the old
Rivers.
Brady and Manning.
Yeah, breaking Brady and Manning.
But
Yeah.
Brady and Breeze would break that, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they would.
Breeze is definitely older than Rivers because Rivers came in to replace Breeze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Breeze, I think Rivers like 37, I think. So I think it was like a grand total of 78 years. And I think Breeze, just just turned 40 like today. So that means
there's never been two 40-year-old quarterbacks in the Super Bowl.
And that's the thing. And if it will be two 40-year-old quarterbacks.
I'm pulling it for two reasons now.
At combined age of 81. So they will break the record that was just broken like a week ago.
I would love to see that, two 40-year-olds. So my mind is saying Chiefs Saints. My heart is saying Patriots Saints. For the epic tag team championship coach quarterback combination.
Oh yeah, that is a tag team for the ages.
Really? Oh yeah.
That
Belichick Brady against Breeze Payton.
Absolutely. Are you sure WrestleMania can't be moved to February? Because we got a pretty good tag team matchup right here. All right, love it. So that's where we're going. We both agree on New Orleans, and Body says Chefs. I say Patriots. Boom.
I'm actually hoping you're right here.
Let's play some football. So that's our look at the NFL playoffs. Next, let's look at an interesting story that just developed recently. College standout quarterback Kyler Murray.
Oh, we got layers to this beast.
Oh, it's like
layers.
It's like an onion. It's an onion waiting to be peeled.
This conversation alone will be action-packed.
Like I'm gonna drink my water right now.
Oh, I'm just witnessing the action
in preparation for this action-packedness. So Kyler Murray, if the name sounds familiar to all of you, it's because he is the first potential two-sport athlete, probably since Neon Dion and Bo Jackson. I thought there was another one. Since there
might have been.
Boy, that tried, but
the thing is, Murray's going to have to play one or the other. Though he's a quarterback, he can't do both.
Well, that's the thing. So right now he's already with the Oakland A's organization. Like they've already drafted him. He belongs to them, and he's even been at spring training.
I believe he has.
Yeah.
If not, he's supposed to go this year.
Yeah. So he's an outfielder in baseball. Already belonged to the A's. But he's now declared that he's going to basically be in the NFL draft for this upcoming draft.
And at first, he wasn't even going to play football at all.
Right.
But there's layers to this.
Yeah, so let's get to the layers.
Okay, so let me go with all the insanity. So first, we start with the coaching situation, which ties in all this madness.
Very good.
The Arizona Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury. This in itself, an interesting, messed up story. Kingsbury, former offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in college. Is either his quarterback coach or offensive coordinator that Johnny Manziel won the Heisman at Texas A&M. Great offensive coordinator. I think he's the offensive coordinator there. Runs this air raid offense, both more pro concepts than other air raid offenses run in college. Crazy pass happy offense. Goes on to Texas Tech. Only wins 6 or 7 games a year there. So not a highly successful record. His offenses were outstanding. Responsible for developing Patrick Mahomes in college. Defenses gave up as much, if not more, than the offenses, hence the not great winning record. So a not great winning record, but
so
great
good for developing quarterbacks
and great innovative offensive mind.
Nice.
Also has ties to Sean McVay, which everyone loves McVay.
Of course.
Joe Beck had the greatest quote last week. If you're tied to Sean, talking about getting an interview, if you're tied to Sean McVay, Buck's quote was along the lines of even his barista at Starbucks got 3 NFL head coaching interviews. So Kingsbury connected to McVay, the big young offensive mind that everyone wants to get their own Sean McVay since the Rams got him. So Kingsbury's plan this year, after he was gone from Texas Tech, was he's going to hang out in LA for a year, pick his friend McVay's brain, chill out. He's in LA. USC hires him as the offensive coordinator. Kind of a controversial move because of his background. Everyone's thinking Clay Helton, the head coach there, might be the lame duck for Kingsbury to move in there one day.
Right.
But whatever, he takes the job. That might not necessarily be the case. That could be perception. He's going to be in LA for a year anyways. USC, a prominent position. Don't blame him for taking the job. All of a sudden, Arizona Cardinals hire him as a head coach. I think they bought him out for $150,000. Now I hear people criticize Kingsbury. Well, he took that job, then you took the Arizona job, and you could take the job anytime. Well, no, because another NFL head coaching job might have not come up. There's only 32 of these things.
Oh yeah, you get a chance. You get a chance at one. This is what you want. You got to take it because there's no guarantee that another NFL job opportunity is going to come.
Yeah, he didn't take a position as another offensive coordinator. He took a head coaching job, so I don't blame him.
Yep.
Now, when you look at Arizona, it's like you got this great young offensive mind. From there, it makes sense. But you look at his win-loss record in college, it's like, meh. I could see wanting to hire him as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't know about that as a head coach.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you can be a great coordinator and not a great head coach, vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
So, looks a little questionable in Arizona.
So now he's the Cardinals coach.
Head coach. There's more.
Yep.
Thing comes up on Rich Eisen's podcast, I believe, this week. Now, the Cardinals last year in the first round took Josh Rosen as their quarterback.
Yep.
And their talk is, we're going with Josh Rosen in the future. That's our future. Kingsbury even talked about Josh Rosen's the future.
Yep.
Some audio played on Rich Eisen's podcast from a few months ago, earlier in the year, where Kingsbury stated, interestingly, if he had the first overall pick in the NFL draft, he would pick Kyler Murray. Oh, by the way, Cardinals have the first overall pick in the NFL draft this year.
And Kyler Murray just
declared for the NFL draft. So now, Cardinals ownership claiming they're sticking with Rosen and management claiming they're sticking with Rosen.
Yeah.
Are they sticking with Rosen? Or are they drafting Kyler Murray? But wait, there's more, because Murray wasn't even going to declare for the NFL draft at first.
Yep.
His agent, Scott Boras, in my opinion, one of the greediest agents in sports.
I think in everybody's opinion.
One of the greediest agents in sports. So now if you're going to, are you going to keep Rosen or are you actually going to draft Murray?
Yeah.
Two, really, you got to think, does Murray really want to play football? Or knowing Boras, is this just a negotiating play with the A's? So do you really go and take him? Are the Cardinals even thinking of taking him? If they're taking him, do you risk taking him? It just looks like a whole mess, and let's see what happens.
And could the Cardinals also be playing games saying that, oh, yeah, we're definitely taking Kyler Murray, that's our man?
Well, they said they're sticking with Rosen. They said they're not taking Murray.
Well,
that's what they're saying right now.
That's what they're saying, but there's also this the quote out there.
They're from
by Kingsbury saying that, if I get the number one pick, I'm going to take Murray. Right? So,
and Murray declares right after Kingsbury becomes coach.
Exactly. So, I mean, is all of a sudden, our NFL team's going to be calling them, hey, that first round pick, any team that's thinking of going after Kyler Murray, are they suddenly going to be more willing to overpay on the chance that the Cardinals might be taking him?
There's a whole lot of madness going here.
Yeah, so there's crazy insanity going on with this whole Kyler Murray move. And yeah, the connection to Kingsbury is pretty outstanding there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And just Kingsbury's hiring altogether, really, the previous coach had one season.
I didn't like the job he did, but you got to give a guy more than one season.
Yeah, one season, good gravy. I don't know, it's to this former coach, what did he do to the owner of the team? Did he, drink his favorite espresso or something? Empty out the espresso can and left nothing for the owner, eat the last donut? Something happened to can this guy after one season, unless they saw the opportunity to get this offensive mind in Kingsbury and figured, we got to get this guy no matter what. Because he's a quarterback whisperer. So for Kyler Murray, I guess the question becomes, are you doing both? Or Like you said, you think you can only do the one based on his position.
You can't do both physically. Deion Sanders was talking about it in the last week, and he's right.
Yeah.
Because he said, and plus it's a different era, because the 80s wasn't even as crazy for playbooks as now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if you could do it at cornerback or running back now like they did then. But when him and Bo Jackson did it, played two sports, like he said, he played cornerback in football. So after baseball, you play corner, you cover. That's what you do. Bo Jackson lines up in the backfield, you run the ball. Maybe some catching, pass protection. Kyler Murray, you're the quarterback. You're running the offense. You got to be in the OTAs and mini camps and all these activities and digesting this whole offense. And being the leader, it's not like you can miss the first couple games of the NFL season. You're the quarterback.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the two sport thing is not possible. So are you playing for the A's or are you playing in the NFL?
So there's the goofy thing. So if that decision comes down, let's compare and contrast here. So if you're playing for the Cardinals, then you're stepping into a 3-13 franchise, who, as we found out,
that couldn't protect their quarterback. And I mean, he's mobile, but he's only 5. You can get him killed.
And as we found out by looking at their history.
It's a great and grand and rich history of epic and monumental failure. Feel free to rehash the history we talked about earlier.
Rich.
Because it's fantastic.
Rich is a good word, because it's rich, all right.
Rich in failure. It's rich in humor, too, as long as you're not a Cardinals fan.
Oh, my goodness gracious. In the 98-year history of the Arizona Cardinals, just to give you an idea, they are 200 games under 500. So that is their historical record.
It's even better than I thought.
200.
It really is better than
200 games under 500.
In a league with a 16-game schedule, and years ago even used to be less than that.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding when I say that 200 games under is even better than I expected.
So, I mean, we're talking about, 13, 14 years of 0-16s under 500. Like, so that's how epically bad this franchise has been.
They're consistent.
They're consistently bad. Like, they're not even inconsistent. They're just bad. Like, 200 games under 500 is their history.
Bruce Arians' reign of success just totally ruined their reputation.
Oh, the Bruce Arians' reign, they had they had 3 seasons over with 10 wins or more.
Just an embarrassment to the franchise. Who brings success like that to the Cardinals?
Oh, it was. And the other 2 seasons, he was like literally 1 game away from being 500. So, I mean, three seasons of 10 wins or more. Prior to that, the only time the Cardinals ever had 10 wins was once in 2009. Before that, you got to go back like 33 years to 1976. And before that, you got to go back another, oh my Lord, 50 years to 1925. So only 3 times.
Until the Bruce Arians era.
Yeah, until the Bruce Arians era, have they had 10 or more win seasons. 1925, 1974 to 76, and then 2009. Like, that's it. Other than that, it's either 500 or most of the time vastly under 500. So yeah, so this is choice number A, the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, and by the way, as the Phoenix Cardinals, they win 6 seasons, 0 seasons of 500. So that's door number 1, Arizona Cardinals.
Oh boy.
Door number 2, Oakland A's. Last year they had a record of 97-65, made the playoffs again, and they have, and this is a franchise that has actually won World Series titles.
And you don't get killed behind a bad offensive line for a living.
And that's the goofy thing with the A's. I mean, right now they're playing in an old, decrepit, miserable park that forced the Raiders out of town.
Yes.
I know there's talk in Oakland that, okay, we kind of screwed that up, so we kind of need to save our baseball team.
Whoa, they're actually getting serious now?
So I know there's talk about finally building an actual baseball stadium for the A's.
About time.
So imagine this.
It only took losing the football team twice to figure this out.
To figure this out, right? Like, some people, you really need to hit them with a big hammer. Like the hammer of Thor type hammer.
Frequently.
Frequently, often, and every day. Twice on Sunday. So, yeah, so basically Billy Beane and the A's, like, they've been on a shoestring budget for decades now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet still producing, like, you know, every 2-3 years, the A's come out of nowhere. And
well, they keep producing young talent, then keep having to let it go because they can't afford to keep it.
That's right.
And then they keep producing it, and then,
yeah. So, I mean, the A's have had, like, winning seasons often throughout the last, like, 20 years. But, yeah, they go in these 3-year cycles of
well, the last cycle before
cycles.
this. Well, the last cycle before this one a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who the two primary batters they gave? They had 3 really good hitters. One guy just kind of fell off on his own.
Yeah.
Guess who the 2 that they dealt away were, who had very successful careers elsewhere? In that lineup that came through the system.
Yeah.
Josh Donaldson, Jonas Cespedes.
Yep.
They keep developing guys like that, then being not able to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if they'd actually develop that and actually be able to keep them for once?
So that's the
as more
thing.
guys come up, it'd be amazing.
So there's the thing. So if the A's, if things start looking up, if they actually do get their stadium, and they actually do get money at long last, then all of a sudden Kyler Murray is going to a team with like an incredible like farm system, and yeah, you're going to play outfield in baseball. Instead of getting destroyed every week in football, playing for a wretchedly bad team.
With a wretchedly bad offensive line, and a team that's historically never gotten it together except for a few years.
Yeah.
And that one guy who got it together knew when to get out of town, took a year off football and is somewhere else now.
200 games under 500. This is where you're going. So,
stick with baseball.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him play football, but man, stick with baseball. It's real good. Oh.
Yeah. And if, I mean, so as far as like pain, injury, baseball obviously has a massive advantage over football. As far as like winning organization, baseball wins again. A's far better team than the Cardinals. And money, there's no difference. Like quarterback money versus like big hitter money in baseball.
It's kind of mind-blowing considering how much more popular football is. But yeah, it's true. It's no big difference.
It's the same money. Like right now we've got Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. And pretty much everybody's assuming, yeah, they're going to get $30 million a year for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and that's going to be pretty much guaranteed. Whereas in football, there's zero guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
Unless... you know, you
get a Kirk Cousins
and you get $80 million guaranteed for
failure.
Not even getting to the playoffs. Yeah, good, well spent, Minnesota.
But you got to get through that first 4-year contract first to get to that guaranteed money.
That's right. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think he'd be better off in baseball. But I guess it depends whether he feels more confident in his baseball skills or his football skills. So, yeah.
I'm confident in his baseball skills, and I'll tell you why. Because Scott Boras consistently, to me, as much as neither one of us likes him, not too many epic failures in baseball this guy has been an agent for. He usually scouts his talent well.
Right. So, yeah, stay tuned, fans. This is a fun story coming up. Next topic. Since we love the world of pro wrestling, we have a new league propping up. AEW.
All Elite Wrestling!
Yeah! So WWE, this is WCW 2.0, coming back 2 decades later to haunt you once again. Is this going to be the restart of the Monday Night Wars?
Well, it's going to be interesting because AEW still has to get their TV contract. who's going to give them a contract? What kind of contract are they going to get? How are they going to run it? Are they going to go weekly? Are they going to do something a little different? Are they going to go head-to-head with the WWE? Are they going to do their own thing? So many questions we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how they attack this.
I would think just going up against the WWE right off the hop, I don't think that would be a good idea. Because for whatever criticism people want to launch at World Wrestling Entertainment, I mean, they are still the granddaddy of all leagues. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have, for the most part, the best wrestlers, and yeah, they pretty much consistently put on a good show, big pay-per-view events. So, I mean, they are, the Hulk, the big dog in pro wrestling. So for a brand new startup league, no matter how confident you are, that would be biting off a bit more than you can chew. That's like XFL trying to take on NFL.
Though I heard an interesting clip from Eric Bischoff on YouTube. There's a thing called 83 Weeks. I guess it's a challenge on YouTube. And I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe that's the name of this podcast he does.
All right.
83 Weeks is how long WCW led Raw in the ratings on the Monday Night Wars.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's the background for this channel. Maybe that's the name of the podcast. Anyways, his co-host was asking him the decision about Nitro going head-to-head with Raw when it did on Mondays. Because I was always kind of curious. Because when it happened, I thought it was crazy. Why would you go head-to-head with Raw?
Yeah.
Now, this was a different era then. This was the mid-90s. So Bischoff was explaining that the reason they went head-to-head is he thought that's where the consumers were. There was a reason he didn't go. They had to compete with Raw on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
But he explained there was a reason they didn't go on Tuesdays, and then he was going through days of the week, and Monday worked the best. At that time, Thursday was dead because that was, at that time, NBC had their big must-see TV night. So at that time, for people now, you've heard of these shows in the past, but at that time, it was Friends, Seinfeld, and I can't remember the others.
Okay.
But it was, I think, like Friends, Seinfeld, ER, there was something else in there, like NBC, like whatever you put on Thursday was going to be dead because everybody's watching NBC at the time. That was like NBC's power night.
Yeah.
So Thursday was out, you got the weekend, so it just made logic to go up. The wrestling fans are watching Monday, you go Monday against Raw. I don't know if you want to go against Raw now, but I can kind of see that argument. There is no real must-see TV night that I know of. I'm not sure if you just go another night. So you can make a point for and against Monday nights either way.
Yep.
I think, like you, I would go against it. But maybe you do something completely different. It's going to be interesting because Cody Rhodes will be one of the main bookers, if not the main booker, and his dad was a successful booker for years.
Yep.
Everyone thinks of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes as a great performer, but during the heydays of the old NWA, he was the primary booker, and he was the creator of the first Starrcade. Now, for a lot of people not familiar with wrestling history, even though the first WrestleMania was the first kind of nationwide, continent-wide, maybe even worldwide wrestling pay-per-view, the first big event of that kind with any pay-per-view access, but it wasn't all cities, was actually in 1983 when Dusty Rhodes helped create Starrcade. So a lot of people who know wrestling think of Starrcade as a big WCW event. Starrcade was actually the granddaddy of pay-per-view wrestling even before WrestleMania. Just didn't reach the monumental success of WrestleMania.
Right.
Because it was built more towards mainstream fans, where McMahon took a gamble and revolutionized how things were and made it a lot more mainstream.
Yep.
But for like the diehard like mainstream wrestling fans, Starrcade was a fabulous event. So, and it was a creative endeavor, though it obviously doesn't get the credit of WrestleMania. And it seems like Cody has his dad's genes when it comes to his creativity. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with this company. And it seems like Tony Khan, who's funding it, really has some deep pockets, because I believe they paid Chris Jericho even more than the WWE was offering him. Plus, it seems like they're going to give their athletes a lot more creative freedom, whereas in the WWE, it's like, you do this.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting to see where this goes and what direction they go and what kind of TV revenue they get, just what's going to happen in general.
Well, I know for the wrestlers that have been signed so far, Outside of Jericho, also in Cody Rhodes, there also the Young Bucks
Yeah.
have been signed, and you mentioned a couple of other names.
Yeah, I think the Young Bucks are part of the group too with Cody.
Okay.
Hangman Page.
Yep.
Pac, formerly known as Neville.
Right. Yeah, so...
And a couple of women have already been signed too, that I'm not as familiar with, because I'm more familiar with the WWE women, but
yeah.
I have a good feeling.
Yeah, so I know one of the talks that they were saying is that these wrestlers are going to be getting better pay and an easier schedule than in other promotions.
Plus, you could add more creative input, I would think.
So, yeah, the founder here, the Wrath of Khan...
Khan!
Good old Khan. He's basically said that he doesn't want to work his wrestlers to death, that he wants them to be able to perform and be at their best. So the schedule's not going to be some 200-300 day crushing death year schedule. I guess we'll find out. Still haven't defined a location where they're going to be doing their events.
If there's a location, I wonder if it'll be Jacksonville. That's where they did the big announcement. That's where they're...
Yeah, yeah.
One other thing, too, is I wonder what their model for scheduling will be. I wonder if they'll use Japan as an influence. Because Japan has a more hard-hitting style, but less people get hurt there because they'll go for a few weeks and then they'll give some time off. They don't go non-stop.
Right.
To give their performance time to recover.
Yeah, I know the WWE, due to injuries and horrible drug abuse, painkillers and all that stuff, I know they switched a few years ago to a 4-3 schedule.
Still not the same as having a couple weeks off.
Yeah, where you work 4 days, then you get 3 days off, and and that kind of schedule to allow them, a bit more of a break. And then, that each wrestler... gets like actual vacation time every year.
Because I just also want to throw into that. You got 3 off, but how much is that taking the flight back home and the flight back down the road too?
Yeah, I think that's part of it is travel, and that's
so it really doesn't work out to a full 3 off.
Yeah, so I know the AEW they're talking about the kinder schedule and also having a healthcare plan as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting because I don't think any company's done that in wrestling.
I don't think so. I think every wrestling promotion that's ever been is just, you're on your own.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE still signs you as an independent contractor who ironically can't go work anywhere else.
Yep.
Still blows my mind.
Yeah. So that's one of the differences, I guess, with the AEW is, you actually get a health plan. So it'll be interesting. Any idea when this league is supposed to start up?
No, I'm kind of curious.
Sometime this year, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm eager. I'm excited.
So I know
I'm hoping this, just because it seems much more ethical than any other company, I'm really hoping it works.
Well, it's just nice to have another promotion. I mean, you can never have enough. So I know right now, like, obviously WWE is the big one, and then after that, then we've got New Japan, NXT. I mean, on its own is actually a credible promotion, actually.
Especially better than WWE right now. It's pure promotion.
Yeah, it's the minor leagues has ironically been the better show lately. Well, we've got, TNA Impact, who's found a bit of a resurgence. So they've been doing well. Thoroughly enjoying, actually, that league right now. And, of course, Ring of Honor. They're also still performing well. So having another big dog out there, and I mean, there's a bunch of other like smaller promotions. Like, in Canada, there's like Smash Wrestling.
How appropriate. Smash Wrestling.
Smash Wrestling. In Scotland, I think it's like Insane Wrestling League. So but this one, is going to promise to be another big global, reach league. So so the more the merrier. We were also looking at possible new wrestlers entering AEW. There's some rumors out there. Some of these people, and others are some people we think maybe you should think about making this move. So you got people like Ty Dillinger. That's one. That the Perfect 10. has been less so since coming up to the big show.
Yeah. Zack Ryder was another one we mentioned.
Yeah, Zack Ryder. That was another one. Like for him, was extremely confusing year because he went from being just a nothing, kind of like bit of a joke of a wrestler, really, with the whole woo woo and all that garbage, and teaming up with Mojo Rawley there, to actually winning the Intercontinental title and actually looking like a credible wrestler.
Only to get buried deeper than you've ever been before.
Yeah, and lose that title the very next day.
Yeah, and right after I got buried deeper than he ever was before.
Yeah, like the PWI is going to find him. Like
After!
They're fine.
After, where is he? Go find him.
Zack Ryder, go! Pro Wrestling Illustrated, getting on it. So if we have the new Zack Ryder, I would like to see more of him.
Same here.
So he'd be a good one. CM Punk, I guess, since his MMA career is a complete disaster.
Well, maybe after he gets beat up a couple more times, he'd be willing to go back to the rest.
Brain just might not be ready for this anymore.
No.
Goldberg, talk of him.
There's been talk. I'd have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, and you were mentioning if he's going to do it, it would probably be like a Brock Lesnar type contract.
That'd be my guess. That'd be the best way to go with him, I think.
I could see that, yeah.
Don't give him the belt, though, if you do that.
Yeah.
Champ's here every 6 months.
That's pretty much it. Hey, the new AEW title defended twice a year.
So prestigious, you don't even get to see the belt physically.
It's a virtual belt. One name I've been thinking about is Bray Wyatt. Because he has been just kind of buried and forgotten and, I don't know, underutilized, I think, in the WWE.
I'd like to throw a couple names out there, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know their contract situations. How about Gallows and Anderson?
Yeah.
Let me throw in another one. Because I noticed all of a sudden he's going to the Royal Rumble in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think before... Now, this is the conspiracy theorist in me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think before this AEW thing, because I don't know where his contract lies, do you think Finn Balor just started getting this push just around now, or could this be a little encouragement? So, hey, it's worthwhile staying.
That's interesting because NXT UK, so another promotion that WWE has founded, they just had their first takeover this past weekend. And interesting enough, Finn Balor was part of that takeover. He actually wrestled in NXT UK takeover.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And when I first saw that, I thought, what? Like, has he been like demoted to NXT UK now? But then all of a sudden on Monday, he's fighting in the 4-man to get a title shot.
I believe he won it.
And he won it. Yeah, so he's going to face Brock Lesnar
at the Royal Rumble
for the title. Yeah, so this whole thing is like... So I found that really strange because
It was just, 6 months ago where Baron Corbin was, destroying him.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's up against Lesnar.
Well, that's the thing. Definitely, yeah, Finn Balor is one that he started off strong and started off doing extremely well. Then he had his injury, and then that's it. He's never really regained that top spot again since he come back.
And then is he going to AEW or is he going to WWE? Will he show up at the Royal Rumble? I think the big X factor, Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah.
The huge X factor in all this. Yeah,
seeing him lose his title at Wrestle Kingdom was soul crushing. Talk about taking someone's soul. I swear that Tanahashi there did that to me.
He did it to us.
You evil fiend! How dare you defeat our boy?
He successfully pulled a DeMarcus Lawrence on us.
He did.
He took our souls.
He took our souls. Evil fiend. I can never cheer for him. So he defeated Kenny Omega and took his title. This is the most wrong thing ever.
Took our souls.
It totally took our souls. Pure evil. I don't care how many people cheer for him. I hate him.
With a passion.
So So as much as distressing and horrifying a loss as that was for Omega, as they say, with every end, a new beginning. So it looks like his time in New Japan is done. His contract over is at the end of this month, January.
Yes.
So obviously now, speculation, WWE, AEW.
Because he didn't show up at New Year's Dash, which is the big show the night after the Wrestle Kingdom show.
Right. So so it definitely...
Which is where they kick off their new storylines.
Yeah, so the assumption is the two promotions are fighting over him. I think he's going to show up at Royal Rumble. I don't know. I just think it would be a crazy risk to go to this new promotion and try to basically start a promotion like from the ground up when he's pretty much the number one wrestler in the world right now. So go to the number one league get paid, man. Get paid.
I could see this going either way equally. The pro of the WWE, because he has a few good years left, get that money now while it's there. They've apparently made a crazy offer.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want the money for being their body like he does?
Yeah. Oh, and his is not an easy style to fight.
No. The cons, though, against going to WWE and the cons against AEW are everything he said, so I don't have to cover them again.
Yeah.
The pros of AEW versus WWE.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, highly creative guy.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons Jericho went over was the lack of creative control in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, Jericho got paid more in AEW than WWE was going to offer him.
Yeah.
I don't know if AEW can make that offer to Omega, but can they make it comparable enough it's worth as well? So we got the creativity, we got that. We have him being reunited with his friends. We have a few things there. Plus, he seems like a guy to take on a challenge, because one of his things in New Japan was he was big on being the guy that putting the company on his shoulders to help with North American expansion.
Yep.
So I could see your point about why take the risk of the company. That could also be what attracts him there, is he could be the guy, one of the people it's on the shoulders of, to actually build a company that competes with the WWE.
Right.
So I could see this going either way with him equally. Neither way, I wouldn't be shocked if he showed up at the Rumble or in AEW. Neither one would shock me.
Crazy.
It's just I'm really in suspense. I don't know which way it could go.
It's I think in the world of wrestling right now, this has got to be the number one, like question mark on everybody's mind. Like, where's Kenny Omega going?
This is like wrestling's equivalent of where's LeBron going.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is going to be more exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. The other thing too, going back to style, and because I know Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles had absolute classics in Japan.
Yeah.
And when we saw them at WrestleMania last year, nothing near the Japanese match.
Right.
Not near the same, which makes me wonder that WWE limits how they work.
Right.
Now, to one point, not quite as physical and crazy, so that might be like a relief. On the other hand, for someone who prides themselves on being the big bout machine or the great match machine, that could be a deterrent, knowing that style may hold them back. Again, the 50-50 thing.
Yep. That's boy, oh boy, yeah. This is a crazy situation that, I can see it going either way. Mm-hmm. Like, I know AEW definitely sounds like they're making a big push to make a big splash. This will be fun to follow in the next few weeks.
Plus, as a good Canadian kid, he may be a believer in getting that health care.
Come back to Canada, Kenny. Wrestle for CWE. Canadian Wrestling Elite, for those of you out there. Come back.
Actually, judging by that one guy we saw, don't go there. There's the other local promotion, though. That's the one he has showed up at. We haven't been at those matches.
That's right. So that's our thoughts on AEW. New promotion. Looking forward to it. Excited. This should be fun. I wish them all the best of luck, and I would love to see the Monday Night Wars again.
Oh, so would I.
All right, so that brings us to the last segment of our show, which is always the epic and suck. One moment we thought was epic, and the one moment we thought sucked for the past week. Buddy, take it away.
I'm going to say, I love your epic like and suck, but I'm going to get to my epic like. So my epic like, I saw a piece on NFL Sunday Countdown. They do human interest stories, which I'm going to admit, even though I have kindness in my heart, on Football Sunday, I'm usually kind of callous and went on to the game. I usually change the channel, treat these human interest stories. Like, it's a touching, inspirational story. Click to the other pregame show.
Touching inspiration is getting in the way of my blood, guts, and football.
It's pretty much. But I saw part of one Sunday and then just watched the beginning of it tonight to get a couple things straight because I kind of brought way through. Really good one. Michaela Bilia. She's from New Orleans or from that area. 9-year-old girl. So she's inspired to play football. And she wrote a letter to both Coach Nick Saban of Alabama and Sean Payton of the Saints, declaring how her goal in life is to play football at Alabama, graduate, then go play football for the Saints. She's one of the best players on her co-ed team so far. Loves football. She went to a thing with the Saints and that she got to hang out with them. She's even she draws up plays at home. She's even drawing up plays for Sean Payton and that.
Nice.
And one of the cool things in this thing, because when I'm watching her draw up plays, I'm thinking, she'd be awesome at coaching too. But when she was asked this question, I thought this is an epic winner, and this was the epic like of this. When asked if she would like to go into coaching one day, her answer was, maybe when I'm done playing.
Nice.
Love her spirit. Go Michaela. I hope you succeed. Seriously, all the best to you. Love that attitude. That is my epic like.
Well done. That'd be phenomenal. First, can you imagine the first woman to actually play in the NFL?
Yes.
That would be mind-blowing.
Never say never.
Do it.
Well, this weekend was also the first female official to officiate an NFL playoff game.
Yep. Make it happen.
Yep.
Love the idea.
For it. Love that. Don't be deterred. I just love that. The coaching's a possibility, but maybe when I'm done playing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right, so your suck of the week.
Oh, my suck of the week. The tennis match fixing scandal. Was this in Spain, I believe? Or I'm trying to remember which country this was in. But you said there was Malaysian money involved.
Yeah, I first heard about
you heard about before
a scandal, the scandal starting about 2 years ago, and it had to do with Malaysian money going into some lower level players in a variety of tournaments. It wasn't just one tournament, but a variety of them. So
so apparently Spanish police have arrested 15 people, investigated 68 more, including 28 professional tennis players, which you were saying were mainly lower ranked.
Yep.
So anyways, they were carrying out raids and everything, which is awesome. Apparently 167,000 euros was seized from raids along with a shotgun and more than 50 electronic devices. Credit cards, 5 luxury vehicles, numerous documents. Authorities also froze 42 bank accounts. Just awesome.
What is a tennis player doing with a shotgun?
Maybe time for a wedding.
Here we go.
So anyways, you people are blowing it for all of us because, gambling's been legalized in the States by the Supreme Court and state by state. We have sports gambling here. It's widespread in Europe. But for the anti-gambling argument, you idiots are giving that ammo and blowing it for the rest of us. So screw all of you losers.
Love it. Well earned suck on that one. For me, my epic this week goes to U.S. gymnast Kate Ohashi. You might have heard of her accomplishments. She is an athlete and student at UCLA. And this week in the Collegiate Challenge in America, she scored a perfect 10 for her floor routine. And if you haven't seen this, I highly recommend find this video. It's available everywhere. Kate Ohashi is her name. And this floor routine that she did was unbelievable. Like obviously her legs are made out of pure springs, just pure coils.
It's flabbergasting.
Because she was doing like splits and instantly springing back up to her feet from the split, which I don't recall seeing anybody doing that. Not to this degree. Like usually you do a split and you kind of stay there for a little bit, and then you doing a spinneroonie back to your feet, and you do some other crazy move. But no, she didn't even bother with that. She just bounced right back up and doing forward flips, back flips, like all from her toes, basically. I never seen anybody that could bounce so much. So it's an incredible routine. I'm pretty, she obviously did every single discipline that you could possibly ask for. The fact that she scored a 10, which is amazing, because it makes me think of Nadia Comaneci in the 76 Olympics, scoring the perfect 10. And it's interesting, just like your epic had a pretty phenomenal quote. My girl Kaylee also had a phenomenal quote when they asked her about what'd you think about scoring a perfect 10 on your routine, and she replies, a 10 isn't enough. So this week, Kaylee Ohashi, you're my epic of the week.
After you showed me that bit too, she may have a point.
10 is not enough.
11.
My suck of the week goes to the AFC East Division. For those of you unfamiliar with this division, that's where the Patriots live. Patriots, along with their downtrodden, property-lowering colleagues called the New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills. This division has been so miserable and so pathetic that for the last 18 years, the Patriots have won 16 division titles. The 2 years that they were not declared the division winner, they finished with the exact same record as the division winner. So the two exceptions are 2002, the Jets were given the division for whatever tiebreaker criteria they had. They won division with a stellar 9-7. And yet the Patriots also finished the year 9-7. So they tied. The only other time they didn't win it in these last 18 years was 2008. Miami won it at 11-5. Well, so do the Patriots have a record 11-5. So I don't know what this tiebreaker is. Whatever it is, you could almost say they've won the last 18 titles, period. Like, they have never actually been in second place. So for 18 years, the Patriots have completely dominated this division. Definitely the worst division in the entire NFL. It is a one-team wrecking crew. And I think for anyone out there doubting the validity of the Patriots' title runs, 18 years of pure success.
Even in a bad division, they've shown it with playoff success, so it's not just getting a weak division.
Yeah, no, they have dominated this division, and the other teams, those three teams, Miami, New York, and Buffalo, all three of you suck. 18
for
years.
For 18 years, this division has sucked more than an overworked prostitute.
Look out. That is a new level of suck.
That is beyond epic.
So, that AFC East, you're my suck of the week. And with that is our show for this week. Thanks again, Bonnie, for another great show.
Been a pleasure again, mine.
And thank you for listening. And remember to subscribe and like to our channel and shows. And thanks again for listening to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.